And then the other path is what I call the path of the middle finger, or the rebel path, who says, and the rebel is the one who looks at what the external power source is saying and says, well, fuck off, and does basically just the opposite. Into the dark forest, into the world of fire, of original experience. Original experience hasn't been defined for you, so you've got to sort out your life for yourself. Either you can take it or you can't. You don't have to go far off the interpreted path to find yourself in very difficult situations.
Sure.
The courage to face the trials and bring a whole new body of possibilities into the realm of interpreted experience for others to experience, that is the hero's deed.
Wow.
Right?
That's deep.
The notion of moving out of all the experiences that have been defined for me by society. Right. These are all the interpreted experiences, and having the courage to go off the path. In my book, I talk about the power of the third path. And it's this
Which book is that?
My latest book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. And this is the book that about healing the soul and unleashing your greatness. But every crossroads in life, every decision in life, even micro decisions, macro decisions, every decision in life, we always think of it, there's a crossroads, there's two paths. And generally speaking, there are. And the way I define them is, this path is the path of the good boy. That here's what the external power sources, here's what society or mom or dad or all the people I look up to, here's what they say, and the good boy says, okay, and marches along and does the good boy thing, right? Sure. That's the path of the good boy. And then the other path is what I call the path of the middle finger, or the rebel path, who says, and the rebel is the one who looks at what the external power source is saying and says, well, fuck off, and does basically just the opposite. Okay, and we admire the rebel path for the rebels for their spirit, yet we also admire and enjoy the good boys because they're easy to get along with, and they get often far more success than the rebels ever get. Right. But the problem is this: neither of those paths is authentic. Because both of them are responding to an external power source. It's just that one is doing what the external power source says, and the other is doing just the opposite, waiting for the external power source to define, and then doing the opposite. The power of the third path is the path of authenticity.
Neutralizing that other external force.
Well, yes. Reducing that voice inside my head. In other words, putting up a boundary, not allowing that external. So now the good boy can't hear it. It's reducing that. But it's also, what's the rebel doing? It's not that the rebel has to turn that path off. What the rebel has to do is turn off my desire to be triggered by it. Because the rebel is just saying, fuck you to everything, fuck you, I'm going to do the opposite. Oh, you said that, fuck you, I'm going to do the opposite. Fuck you. It's turning off the fuck you, and that fuck you is driven by all my fears and pains from my own fucking past. So the power, what the third path really is where you've quieted those voices, and where you're now coming to every tree in the forest, and you're saying, what feels right to me in this moment? And in the beginning, it's a slow process. But at this decision, what sort of bourbon should I drink? Do I need caffeine today? So for instance, in my work, I have to keep my caffeine to a minimum. But on my workout days, I'll do like 3 Monsters and 2 or 3 cups of coffee because I work out 1 day a week. So it's just like, but at every decision, I'm feeling it. Every tree I come to into the forest, do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go over? Do I go under? Do I turn around and sit? Do I go backwards? And so every single point, you're reading what feels right to me, having tuned out the external power sources. In other words, I now have an internal power source. And in the beginning, it's laborious and it's tedious. But the more you become accustomed to doing it, you begin to live authentically in the moment. From moment to moment, you're just feeling your own feel. And so this gets back to where we were talking about, an hour or so ago, this idea of masculinity.
Sure.
And that we're taught to not listen to that voice. And masculine just means tough all the time.
Yeah. Can't hurt me.
Right. But that's bullshit. It's a bullshit notion because it's not badass. If you were a true badass, you wouldn't be doing what everyone else says you should do. If you're a true badass, you'd do whatever the fuck you want. And there are times when what the fuck I want is to bawl my fucking eyes out. When I was with my mother 3 days ago and 2 days ago, and I'm sitting by her bedside and I'm kissing her fucking hand, and I'm kissing her cheeks and I'm stroking her cheeks, fucking crying my fucking eyes out. or when I'm playing with my little fucking kids or any little babies, because I like babies because they're so cute and they have those big cheeks and I just want to gobble them up. I'm doing it because it feels good to me, or it feels sad to me. I allow myself to feel, but someone who's saying, no, those things are weakness, you shouldn't, because that's not what men do.
Right.
Really, where's the definition for that? That's so fucking arbitrary. So in other words, you're saying you're not self-possessed. You are answering to a voice outside yourself of what a man should be. Whereas a real badass, a real man, to me, is just doing what the fuck they feel in the given fucking moment. That's the third path. The path of authenticity, of who am I moment to moment, and do you have the courage to be authentic moment to moment, or are you basically a fucking cliche? Because being that cliche, that masculine,
It's gonna cost you.
and it's weak. And it's going to cost you in terms of your relationships, in terms of the amount of money you can fucking make, but especially it's going to cost you in terms of inner joy, clarity. All those things get lost when you're still answering to an external power source. Does that make any sense at all?
It makes a whole lot of sense. Actually, it's scary how how real it is. It makes too much sense, and I'm happy.